I'm Dr. Keith McWilliams. I'm the academic program director on the Dallas campus. This is an opportunity for you guys to really be able to ask questions and explore kind of what to expect when it comes to the hybrid immersion program. So the goal of this is to be as interactive as possible. So if you have questions, feel free to come off mute. You can also put questions in the chat. I'll try to monitor that as I can. Um, but really, this is your opportunity and your chance to learn. So I'm going to go ahead and open the floor up for questions.
I guess I'll start. What does a typical like day to day look like for us? Like I understand there's some synchronous and asynchronous meetings. So I guess at least for our first semester, what should we be looking for?
Yeah, great question. So, really, for a hybrid student, this is still a full-time program. So you should expect that you will have coursework that is, really kind of a Monday through Friday deal. Most of our assignments are due on Sunday evenings to also give you the opportunity to do those things on the weekend if you need to. But the majority of campuses schedule the online lab portions of your courses Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, with some campuses and some terms being a little bit different. Sometimes it's just Tuesday and Thursday. Sometimes it does take Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday for that. But as you know, you have your online portion too, which is like your online lectures. So there will be pre-recorded videos by your faculty that will cover course content that goes along with your course textbooks. Your lab sessions is really meant to be active learning, different activities for you to do during that time that sometimes coincide with what is in the lecture, but not always. So it just kind of depends on where the faculty feel you are in the learning process at that point. But the great thing about it is that you're able to do those online lectures at your own pace, and you can pause, rewind, fast forward, and go back and do those. But now the lab portion, those are required. It is a set time. Most campuses are doing their lab sessions anywhere from 8 a.m. To 7 p.m.
Will the professors still have like online office hours if we have questions? I know we can always email them, but if there's open opportunity to just meet with them through video chat, is that an option for all of our professors?
Yes, absolutely. So you will have open office hours for every faculty member, all of those are posted in the syllabus of your course. And some faculty will also hold open labs to where it's just an opportunity to come and practice, especially when you go to campus for your immersions. Some students are coming in a day early, some are staying an extra day just to have more time on campus, and then also interacting with some of the students that are in our residential programs that are there Monday through Friday. Go ahead, Camille.
Thanks. So I know you said our lectures are pre-recorded. For the online labs, do you know how frequently those will happen as well? I know that we're going to go in person like twice a semester. But do you know how often the online labs will be?
Yes, so it's every week. Every
Oh,
week,
okay.
just like you would have a regular campus schedule, you would be online for those. So, for example, in your first term, you have a course called Human Function. So, this is a little bit of anatomy, a little bit of neuro, a little bit of hands-on skills when it comes to transfers and body mechanics. So, that course will meet every week. Because in total you have total hours that you have to meet for a course, total number of lab hours. So you add all of those weekly hours up, and then that can also tell you how many hours you're going to be there for the immersion. Knowing that most of our immersions, you're going to be there a little bit less in the first term, but then the amount of time that you're on campus increases in the second term and the third term.
Okay. So the schedule that's posted online where it says that we have class from on Tuesdays and Thursdays, like all day. Are those their lab times?
Yes,
So are the lectures we just have to review on like Monday or Wednesday or whenever?
correct. Yeah. So
Okay.
students are expected to do the lecture material prior to coming to the lab because you got to
Okay.
come into the lab with some sort of baseline knowledge of what the content is going to be covered.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Go ahead, Brandon.
Do you know how long the lecture video is going to be?
So they vary based upon what content is being covered. So some of them can be 30 minutes, some of them can be 45. But those, again, you can pause them, you can go back and review them. They're available to you whenever the course opens, and then you're able to have it all throughout the term. And even as you move from first term to second term, you still have access to those courses to go back and review some of that material if you need to.
Thank
And
you.
it's not, yeah, you're welcome. And it's not all lectures. So some of it is different types of virtual content, like that you would click on and it would move you to the next scenario and maybe play a little video. And then you have to answer questions about that. And then it moves on to the next portion. So it's highly interactive as opposed to thinking that you're just sitting back and listening to a video of someone speaking. As you guys have questions, you can just go ahead and come off on mute and ask. No reason to raise your hand.
Hi, if we have any type of emergency situations come up where we miss an emergent week, will there be any like makeup periods along with the labs as well online?
Yeah, so that's the challenge that you have with the hybrid immersion program is that the immersions are mandatory. So regardless of what the issue is, if you miss an immersion, you would miss too many hours of a course. So you would have to fall back and repeat that course at a different time.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. There's a lot of testing that goes on whenever you come for the immersions. And so it takes quite a bit of time and there's a lot of content that is covered that can't be made up on another day.
Is it correct that immersion days are like the days that we are there? It's from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Yes, so they're pretty jam-packed. As I mentioned, there's a lot of stuff that you have to do during those immersions, but we also plan other activities. So we have student organizations that maybe have an hour of that day that you would meet and get to interact with other cohorts and other students on campus. You may have lunch with your faculty. There's lots of different activities that are going on during the day to kind of break it up to where you don't feel like you're sitting in class all day. So we've been running this program almost 2 years now, just over 2 years. And so our students, they say that the immersions are a lot. I mean, you think about it, you're in class for sometimes 5 straight days of just kind of heavy content because it is an accelerated program. But our hybrid students tend to be very happy because you're not having to travel a whole lot. You don't have to move. You're able to engage with your courses and your faculty and other students online, and our cohorts become very close with one another. So a couple of questions in the chat. So one question is about medical equipment training. What alternative methods should students pursue for lab equipment familiarity? We're going to teach you all of that. It's all going to be part of your courses. So there's really nothing that you need to do ahead of time to sort of prepare for that. I always tell students if there's anything you want to prepare, it's to look over your anatomy information that you had in either undergrad or a course that you took. That tends to be some of the things that students struggle with because it's almost like learning a new language when you start thinking about all the different body parts and the functions and how that works. And as far as the textbooks that you need, that's posted online as well. So if you go to the My USA page, Each campus will have their book list posted there for you. And another question about missing, you can't miss any time, not even a day. So even missing a day of a course puts you over the limit of what you would need to qualify to pass that course. So there's really no exceptions when it comes to hybrid immersion, that you've got to be there for the full time.
Do you know if one of our labs will be a cadaver lab?
So it depends on which campus that you're going to. So
Okay.
some campuses do still have the cadavers, and then other campuses use anatomage tables, which is a virtual dissection.
Okay.
Mhm.
How can we find out the our set tuition per semester? Because when I was looking at it, it was showing it as a whole, but how do you know how much it is per semester?
Yeah, so that'll be a great question for either the financial aid office or if you email the bursar, so just bursar@usa.edu, as well as your enrollment advisor. They'll be able to give you breakdown of, you can really email any one of those offices. My best recommendation will be to talk to your enrollment advisor.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Are study groups, like I guess per class pre-planned, or is that something that you as the students need to do? And also, what are your tutoring options?
Yeah, so there is group tutoring that's offered for certain courses. We know the courses that students tend to need tutoring for, and those are usually group tutoring sessions. One-on-one tutoring then becomes available if we know that a student is really struggling and has maybe an exam coming up that they need some one-on-one help with. Obviously, your faculty is going to be the best source when it comes to that. So going to the open office hours, scheduling meetings with your faculty, because they're the teachers of the class. So it's a little bit different when you've got another student who is trying to teach you content because they're still a student. And so it just kind of depends on the course and what content you're really wanting that extra assistance with. As far as group studying, our cohorts all get together. They all, when it comes to orientation, everybody has a group meet. They're connecting. Like I said, you're going to spend a lot of hours with the people that are in your cohort. So you become very close and kind of go through the same experience together. Exams during the immersion time or at home. So it can be a combination of both, just depending on what the faculty decide. Some faculty like to have their exams on campus to where everybody's in a room taking the test together, and then others may do it via Respondus online. How many exams per trimester? Each of our courses have final exams. Some courses have midterm exams. Some have practical exams. So you can expect that you're going to have at least one exam for every course that you're taking, and sometimes it can be two. Some courses have 3 exams. It just kind of depends on the content of the course.
I heard that Fieldwork 1 has changed, that we are doing it on campus instead of in our own area. Is that correct?
Great question. Thank you for asking. I was waiting for that one. So the field work, it depends. This is something that you will hear in the OT program a lot, is it depends. We do everything that we can to try to get you what's called a level 1 field work within your home community. Now, we recognize that some students live in communities that is just not available. There isn't a place that's offering, a site for us. And so in the event that that happens, then we will be doing the level 1 field works near campus, and it just gets added on maybe a day, maybe 2 days to your immersion where you would travel to the campus. So for example, in Dallas, our students are going to be coming in this term on a Tuesday. They will have fieldwork on Tuesday, fieldwork on Wednesday, and then they will start their immersion labs after that.
How early should we fill out the information for our field work?
Yeah, as soon as you can, because that allows you the opportunity to talk with your fieldwork coordinator in order to see if there are placements available. Now, we have thousands of contracts across the United States, and we're constantly adding new contracts. And so there may be places that we already have a contract in place that is within your home area, and we may say, this is the place that you're going. But obviously, if there are places in your community that you're aware of, we ask that you do not contact those places, but you just give that information to your fieldwork coordinator to explore.
If we do end up doing the immersion work in our community, do we have to, or is it required that we come in those extra days for the immersion, or it's more so if you did it in your community, then you come on this specific day?
Yeah, great question. So let me explain a little further. So in each term, so term 2 and in term 3, you'll have 2 fieldwork experiences. You'll have a fieldwork experience for mental health. You'll have one for adult, really kind of an adult ortho based. You'll have an adult neuro based that's in term 4, or I'm sorry, in term 3, and then also a pediatrics rotation. So according to our ACOT standards, we have to meet all of the hours for those. Typically, the mental health placements are a little bit harder for us to find. So those tend to be the ones that you're having to do near campus. So during, let's say, term 3, you may have your pediatrics rotation in your home community, but we may need to have some adult experience in, say, Dallas or St. Augustine area. So in the event that your fieldwork coordinator is able to find 2 placements in your home community, you're set.
Do you know if placements can be done like on a military base? Like if they're like I live near a military hospital, if that's allowed or not allowed, because I know it's kind of
As long as we have a contract. If the site is willing to establish a contract with us, then we go through the process. I know that we place students in military hospitals already, so I don't see why it would be an issue for us. Most of the time, it's just, is the site willing to take a student? Recognizing that occupational therapists and a lot of these sites are very busy all the time, which is a good thing for you because when you graduate, it'll be easy to find a job. But that's kind of the challenge that we have in school is finding placements. When it comes to now you have level 2 experiences that come after your didactic portion. So after you finished your courses, those are 2 12-week rotations. Those you can be placed, really anywhere in the United States, and we even do international placements. But those we also try to find within your home community. But there is the chance that you may have to move for those fieldwork experiences. That is correct. The question is does that mean there are no mandatory military fieldwork rotations? No, that's not a requirement. Just the four requirements are pediatrics, mental health and community, and then your 2 adult-oriented rotations. So the next question, where can we find fieldwork paperwork for our placements? You don't do any of that. Students don't have to do any of that. Our academic fieldwork coordinators will coordinate the placements. They will have an individualized meeting with you. They will also have a group meeting with your cohort when the term starts, so that you can get all the information about fieldwork.
So I know we have our 2 level 2 field works in our second year, but when did you say that the other field works they start in our first year?
So you will have in term 2 and in term 3, you'll have level 1 fieldwork rotations.
Okay.
Those are short. They're usually about 20, 24 hours of those rotations. And then your level 2 field work would be in term 4 and in term 5.
Okay. Thank you.
Mhm. So the next question was, will there be an updated textbook list released? That textbook list should be published on your campus's webpage. That's under My USA, and you can find that. It gets updated every term.
I did have a question about registration. Do we as students register ourselves in the courses, or does the school register us automatically into the courses?
The school does that automatically because all students are taking the same courses. And so if everyone is starting in the spring, then the Friday before classes start, you will have access to Blackboard and you'll be enrolled in all of your courses to prepare over the weekend to get ready for your labs that will start the next week.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. So you'll have course access on January 9th. Question in the chat about textbooks needing the specific edition year, or would an older edition also work? It will not. Reason being is because our faculty are constantly updating the online courses. So if you have an older textbook and you are trying to follow along with going on in your lecture, a lot of times the pages don't match, and sometimes content gets removed or added based upon what edition is being utilized. So you got to make sure that you have the most up-to-date edition. Right. Question about the listed schedules. Is it definitive that some exams are on campus during the terms? Some exams are on campus. We're talking written exams. Some of those are online on campus, but then some of them are done within your home environment. So it just kind of depends on the course and what the faculty member decides. Now, your practical exams or your skill competencies, all of those have to be done in person. And so those you will do when you come to campus for immersions. Next question about the zip codes for preferred placements. So that will go into what's called our core system. So at this point, you won't have access to that. After you have your fieldwork meeting with your fieldwork coordinator, they will direct you where to go and show you how to go into the system to add in those zip codes.
I have a question. The meeting that is tomorrow for everyone, I was a little bit confused. Is that something they're gonna do weekly for people to attend, or is that a one time, like you just attend it one time and that's it?
I am not certain what meeting you're talking about.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sorry.
For the required equipment list, are we required to bring that every time for the immersion days?
Yes. Yeah. So your faculty will remind you, but it's just I always tell students just make sure you have that stuff in your backpack. Make sure that you're bringing it with you and you have it. Good question in the chat. So it's about during level 2 fieldwork, will we have immersion dates? No, at that time you have finished your didactic portion of the program. So meaning all of your classroom portion is finished. So when you go on your level 2 fieldwork, you're going out into your community and working under the license of an occupational therapist. So you're basically working a full day, 40 hours plus, with an OT.
Are those positions during that time paid, and do we build our own schedule with them, or are we on a set schedule of the school's choosing?
Good question. You are on the schedule of that occupational therapist. So at that time, they are your fieldwork educator. So they will tell you what hours that they work and what the expectations are for that site. And no, they are not paid.
Okay, thank you.
And all of the class schedules are going to be different depending on which campus that you're going to. So the MyUSA webpage, and then if you go under academics, you will be able to find your campus and then be able to go into the hybrid immersion page or under course schedules to be able to find that. Are there any other questions? Right, so a question in the chat about how the doctorate is different from the master's. The doctorate program has a capstone series. So the capstone is required for the OTD degree. Most of your lab courses will be combined. So you will have master's level students and doctorate level students together in those. But the doctorate students will have additional coursework in their capstone. And then after the students who are in the master's program finishes their second level 2 rotation, they will graduate. And those that are in the OTD program will have one additional trimester where you are implementing your capstone project, and then you will graduate after that. For the immersion dates listed online, are those set and finalized? As far as I know, for the spring, all 5 campuses or all 4 campuses that have hybrid immersion, those dates are finalized because we've already published the schedule. Just know going forward, it may be different in the summer and it could also change again in the fall. We try to give students at least 6 weeks notice of when the schedule is going to be rolling out for the next term. For immersion days, what is the typical dress code, scrubs or business casual? That also depends on the campus that you go to. So each one of our campuses have a different dress code requirement. So for example, in Dallas, our hybrid immersion dress code is teal scrubs. So if you just kind of look at the USA color, it's also on the USA Gear store. But other campuses have a little bit different dress code. Next question about, since we don't know what we don't know, is there anything that's important for you to know before joining? I think that the most important thing for you to know as a student is that flexibility is required. And what I mean by that is that, you know, OT is a profession that things are constantly changing, constantly evolving. And so that is something that you will learn throughout the program. You get what you put in. And so students who work hard in our program, students who show up, ask questions, engage, raise their hand to participate in things, they typically perform a lot better than the students who sit in the back and don't really engage. So I think that's really the most important piece is the more that you pour into this program, the more you will get out of it. Question about liability insurance during level 2 immersions. That is covered through the university. So that is not something that you would need to publish or to purchase on your own. Next question about the spring calendar for 2026 lists only interim dates. So only those specific professors can determine pacing. Yeah, so each course will also have a schedule that will outline, and you will have that information when you get access to your course. But as far as the immersion dates, all of that should be posted on there. If for some chance that you do not see your campus listed, reach out to your enrollment advisor and they will be able to get a hold of either the program director or the faculty of that campus to get that information up to date. And next question about best way to prepare for the NBCOT. Well, hopefully it's 5 or 6 terms within our program. That's the goal, is to help you to be able to be ready for your level 2 fieldworks where you have clinical experience, and then we will also offer assistance throughout the program of preparing you for the NBCOT exam. All of our exams are written in NBCOT style, so that way you get that experience of what it's like to take that exam. Another piece of advice for you as you're in the hybrid immersion program is to develop a relationship with your faculty. Communicate. Sometimes you're going to feel like you're over communicating. It's key. If you have something come up, if there's an emergency situation, if you are going to be absent for something, communicate it ahead of time. We tend to have a little bit more leniency for our students who communicate and explain to us what is going on versus those who don't communicate, don't show up, and then just expect that, you know, things are going to be okay. So a question about students really not missing a day if they're recovering from a vaccine or medical requirements. Yeah, those are typically things that can be planned. And so if a student misses any time during an immersion, you will fall back a trimester and have to repeat those courses. You would be administratively withdrawn from the course. What type of shoes to wear during level 2 immersions? Comfortable ones. We are a profession of doing. We are active, and so we recommend that all of our students, Hoka's may be a good brand. I prefer Nikes. I'm an Air Jordan guy. So it's up to you. Just wear something that is comfortable. No slides, no Uggs, no Crocs, tennis shoes. Question about the dress code. So also on My USA, if you go into the student handbook there, you will be able to see what the specific dress code is for your campus. Subject matter topics for the capstone. You will have a doctoral capstone coordinator in your program who will be able to explore different topics, and they meet with you one-on-one as well for student advising on that. But we just ask students, if you have ideas, bring them forward. So there's not really anything that's off the table when it comes to your capstone project. We always say that the best capstone project is a finished capstone project. So you don't want to come into this thinking it's something like a dissertation that's going to take a long time for you to be able to complete that project. Yeah, and so another question about missing, it depends. It depends on what the accommodations are for, kind of what the situation is for. Obviously, we explore and we take everything into account of what's going on. We understand that emergencies happen. We understand that things come up. So it's going to be, dealt with on a case by case basis. Really, the bigger issue is that if you miss an immersion, right, I can speak for the Dallas campus. I have faculty that live in Connecticut, South Carolina, Montana, New Mexico. I can't bring those faculty back in, to do a one-person class for a student because they, went to a wedding or whatever it may be. So there's just really not a lot of leeway when it comes to missing an immersion. Okay. A question about declining the flu shot. Could that limit our chances of working in certain clinical settings? Yes. As you all have experienced really since 2019, certain places have different rules. And so it just kind of depends on what the requirements are of each site. It depends on what state you want to go to. That's all stuff that's constantly changing, and we're trying to, kind of keep up to date with all of those things. Question about immersion for Tuesdays and Thursdays. Typically, your online lab courses are Tuesdays and Thursdays. That can change depending on the term and depending on the number of hours, and also faculty availability. But as far as what we call immersion, that's when you come to campus. So those are typically run either Tuesday or Wednesday through Sunday.
So I do have a question that might just only pertain to me. I'm not really sure. I'm in the reserves, and I know I had already talked to my command about our 2-week training that we're supposed to be having next year. And I've got the schedule pulled up, like I have the draft of the schedule for our campus, but it's only showing Tuesdays and Thursdays, like what our meetings are going to be like. So I'm trying to figure out how I can get a full schedule, even showing like the asynchronous part, because I don't want them to think, oh, she only has class Tuesday and Thursday.
Yes. So as soon as you get your class schedule, like when the term opens up, you'll also be assigned an academic advisor. That's the person to communicate with. So you will have a meeting right at the start of the term with your academic advisor, and they will be able to give you more information, as well as, like I said, just communicate what your needs are, communicate what's going on. All right. Yeah, one last call for questions here. So online bookstore that we can purchase items from. Most of our students are purchasing books through Amazon. That tends to be even faculty. That's what we're doing. We're going on and ordering our stuff through there. So yeah, I would say that that's the best route to go through. Just find the books online. Sometimes you can get used textbooks through there as well. A lot of our students are also doing ebooks, getting access to those. All right. Any last pressing questions? All right. Well, thank you guys for your time. I hope that this was helpful. I hope that you were able to get some questions answered. I see one here about live sessions being recorded. Typically, faculty are not recording the lab sessions. It is a requirement that you are in those sessions and participating in those. Now, as far as the lecture material, that's all pre-recorded and online and in your courses. So, first of all, congratulations. Congratulations on being a part of really one of the largest, if not the largest, OT communities of students in the United States. We're very excited to have you guys starting and joining us and working your way towards becoming an alumni of the University of St. Augustine for Health Sciences. So appreciate your time. As I said, communicate, communicate, communicate. The more that you are communicating, the better that you will do. So I hope you all have a wonderful evening and can't wait to see you on our campuses.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Have a good one.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you.